It looks like only the brave have survived. The crowd is starting to thin out. The word must have gotten out that I'm speaking last, and they started to leave quickly. Couple things. Could you put that first slide up there for me, Ben? I want to share with my friends something that's very important to me. This is not going to be about grandchildren this time, although I can bore you to death with a lot of pictures. But Ben's going to put up a picture, and this is a picture of me in one of my favorite spots on planet Earth. And my guess is everybody in this room has a spot like that where your soul is absolutely grounded. This is the back porch of a house that we go to every year up in North Carolina. You can see the reflection in the windows. We've got about a 35-mile view over the Blue Ridge Parkway. It is absolutely spectacular. We purposely saved this trip for October. Number one, to get out of the brutal heat of Florida, but number two, to be able to see the change of seasons, which you get to see up here, but we don't in Florida. But when I am there, and that picture of me is about as relaxed as you'll ever see me, and it really is a good introduction into why I got involved in the network marketing business in the first place. I got involved in the network marketing business for one reason, and that is I was a very successful discontent. And I want all of you to understand that term, and you've heard a number of people talk today about sponsoring at the right level. And what I want to do today is to share with you some lessons that I learned on the way. I've been doing network marketing now for 26 years. And in 26 years, you better learn some lessons during that time. But I can tell you that the vast majority of the lessons that I learned that allow me to make 7 figures annually and ultimately make cumulatively 8 figures in the network marketing business really happened in the first year or two during the time that most people walk away from the network marketing business. And I can tell you that just like everybody in this room that's done this at all, where you've had your moments that you wanted to walk away, you're thinking, why am I doing this? I have had every single one of those moments. So in having the opportunity and receiving the very kind invite to come up and talk to this organization, I thought the best thing I can do is give you some reflections from an old guy. Okay, I'll be 62 years old here in October. I don't feel 62 at all. I feel very young because of the products being a piece of my health success puzzle. I've lost 30 pounds. I have a smaller waist now than when I was 30 years old. I am in fantastic shape. I feel great. I've got a lot to live for. I have a spectacular wife. We'll be married 31 years in January. I have 3 great children. I have 2 grandchildren. I have just a magnificently blessed life. And I mention all of them because, quite frankly, they were the ones. It was my family that I had at the time and the family that I knew that was coming that became the cause in my life to be able to raise the bar in my life and do things that the average person simply would not do to be able to succeed in network marketing. In my first year in network marketing, I worked full-time as a prosecuting attorney, and that was a 50-hour-a-week job. And that was a very responsible job. That was really important to be able to be paying attention and be sharp and all that stuff. But when I looked at network marketing was a solution for me. People ask me all the time, John, did you want to do network marketing? And my answer is very clear, no. Who wants to do network marketing? I didn't want to do network marketing. But I understood something. Successful people don't do things because they want to do them. They do them because it will get them to where they wanted to go. I didn't want to do network marketing. When it was network marketing for me when I got started, it was Amway. No one in their right mind wants to do Amway. But there it was. It was a vehicle, and that vehicle had a couple components to it that were solutions for me because my problems then, I basically had 2 diseases. Lack of time and lack of money. I don't know if anybody here has had those 2 diseases. They're really bad. Lack of time, lack of money. I had those. Okay, you didn't get paid a lot doing what I did. It didn't matter how good you did. It didn't matter how hard you worked. There was a certain amount of money you were going to make, and you were not going to make over that. Meaning that my dreams were going to have to live within that ceiling of income, and my dreams were far bigger than that ceiling of income. But just as big as the income was to me, was the concept of having time to be able to do things with the people that I loved. To be able to wake up in the morning, do what I wanted to do with who I wanted to do it for as long as I wanted to do it, and have the choices during the day to own my life instead of someone else owning my life and someone else determining the value of me coming to work every single day. I just got fed up. I was very successful at what I did. You would want to have hired me as a prosecuting attorney. But one of the lessons that I've learned along the way is, and this is a huge lesson for all of you, who you are sponsoring. I love the saying that Lou Holtz has. Most of you know Lou Holtz, a great football coach, used to coach at Notre Dame. He's got a great statement. He says, I've noticed something. The better the players that I have on the field, the better the coach that I am. And that is very true in network marketing too. And during that first year, I found myself sponsoring people for the sake of sponsoring them. I was living in a small community as a chief felony prosecutor there. You were kind of a big deal. I was on the front page of the local newspaper with Bessie the cow, usually once a week. A lot of people knew me, so if I said, hey, I want to sponsor you, even if it was Amway, they were getting in with me. And I found that in the first year, I basically built a babysitting club. And I was just babysitting and doing everything for people. And it took me about a year to realize, no, that's not what you do. You've got to go find people who are centers of influence. And I learned the following lesson. This is a huge lesson. It took me a year to learn this. Whoever someone is before they get into network marketing is exactly who they're going to be when they get into network marketing. People leave hints. Success leaves hints. People who are successful, I don't care what field they're in, they have developed success habits in their life. And they will bring those same success habits that have created success in other industries. They'll take that same success habit set from that other industry and they will bring them over here. And you will have a high predictability of being able to see that people are going to succeed or not based on where people have been before. And I basically looked at myself in the mirror one day and said, you're sponsoring the wrong level of people. You need to sponsor people who that when they see the vision, all you're going to be doing is helping them with the wind in their sails. You're not going to be driving their boat. And I got exhausted driving other people's boats who were waiting for me to be able to do the work for them. And the reason that I was willing to go through that first year of having people come in, losing people, etc., the reason I was able to do that and willing to do that is one of the secrets that all of you need to take away from today's event and this talk. And that is this, and you really need to get this. And when I say this, I always have to govern my words just a little bit because I don't want anybody to take this wrong. You need to understand what business you're in. And most of you in here, you do not understand what business you're in. This took me a year, and when I got it, it was game over. It was 6 and then 7-figure income like that. And what I came to learn was this. You are not in a product business. We have the best products in the world. I tell people all the time, you take anybody else in network marketing, put them up there, have them stand there, and I'm going to say, here's what I want you to do. I want you to put your product on the table. Then right behind your product, I want you to put the published science about your product right behind the product. Then I want you to stand the scientist that actually created the science that's in that paper behind the product. Go ahead and do that, and I'll compare what I've got to you got, and you will lose 100% of the time. We have the best products in the marketplace, bar none. But we're not in a product business. We're in a business of helping people fulfill their dreams. We're in the business of finding, recruiting, and training great leaders because when you find, recruit, and train great leaders, they will lead the masses of people who will consume and sell the products. And when I learned that, and I heard Derek today. I've known Derek for a great long time. He is a great man. And I heard him today, and I could hear, which many of you may not have been able to discern as clearly as I have, a little bit of frustration down in Derek, wanting to really kick this thing into gear and really get this going and just knock it out of the park and become the talk of the industry. I can hear his frustration there that that's not there yet. And it will not take place until we as an organization understand that this is all about finding, recruiting, training great leaders. People will never accomplish in a pin level beyond what the self-image is that they have of themselves. And one of the things that you're wanting to do is be in a constant state of developing your self-image even better and better and better. The more that you have a great self-image of you, And one of the things that you can do specific to self-image, and is one of the secrets of success in any business, but particularly in network marketing, and that is become someone who has the voice in the head that becomes the self-discipline muscle in your life that will allow you to do what the average person will not do. Because the average person will not self-discipline themselves. When I was working during that first year as a prosecuting attorney, it was all day long in the courtroom. And what I'm about to say to you, you're going to think you were nuts, you were crazy. You were, as someone used the word today, obsessed. I was obsessed because the dream that I had of waking up in the morning, having enough money to do what I wanted to do, go where I wanted to go, and very important to me, and this is hugely important to the soul of John Terhune, I believe that one of my responsibilities as a human being in a relationship with a beautiful woman and having a blessed family, a family that I'm blessed to be able to have, one of my most important responsibilities is creating memories for them. Not showing them what England or France or Italy or Egypt or South Africa or South America or Hawaii or China looks like in a book, but allowing them to be there and feel it and smell it and eat the food and to be able to have an experience so that when your kids go to their grave, they still have phenomenal memories of the time that they spent with you, that short period of time that you went out of your way because you were free. You were not burdened by money. You were not burdened by time. You could go do what you wanted to when you wanted to. That burned inside of me, and it made me push myself beyond what a normal person would do that did not have a dream, that was not inspired by a dream that was emotional to them, that they could not live without. It was hard to work all day as an attorney till 5 o'clock, and I bought, in the first year, when I decided I'm going to do this, I bought a brand new Nissan Maxima. 4 years later, that Nissan Maxima had 262,000 miles on it. I drove over 60,000 miles because back then, I built network marketing in the Fred Flintstone days of network marketing. We didn't have cell phones, let alone computers and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. We didn't do it. If you're going to share the plan, you get in the car and you go share the plan. And most of my groups developed, I lived in a small rural community, so most of my groups grew in Tampa and different places like that. It was a 2 to 3 hour drive. So I'd work till 5 o'clock. I'd go out to my car at 5 o'clock, I'd get in, start driving down the road. I'd get about 15 to 20 minutes away from the house where I was going to do the meeting. I had a fresh suit in the back seat. I would take my fresh suit and I'd go into some nasty gas station bathroom and I would change into another suit, put a nice new crisp shirt on, go in there feeling good that night to be able to do that meeting. I'd do that meeting with enthusiasm and passion. And I learned early on that they were not buying into my knowledge, they were buying into my belief and my passion. And I will tell you, the belief and passion will trump knowledge every single day of the week. And I was exhausted. I cannot tell you how many times I'm sitting out in the front of the house about to go in and do this meeting completely exhausted. And I got to the point where I really had to leverage music. Music gets in my soul. It drives me. And I've got certain favorite music. And man, before I'd go in that house, I'd put on Eye of the Tiger or something like that. I'd jump out of the car. I'd bench press my car about 4 times. I'd go into the house and I'd put a meeting on those people you cannot believe. And if the people in that house did not get in the business, they might not have gotten in, but they left that house going, that cat is going to be a millionaire in this thing. He is going to make it because I showed that I believed and I was in a passionate pursuit of a dream that I could not live without. That's the secret. It's not knowledge. It's passion. It's belief. Suspend disbelief. If you do not believe right now, do yourself a favor. Suspend it for about 90 days and go out there and work as though you could not fail. You can't believe. You know the only difference between me or Jerry and you? We've gotten so many more no's than you've gotten, it's not even close. And I created an analogy very early in my network marketing business. It was basically this. I imagined that every time I was going in to share the business opportunity, I had a glass of water. And I knew that I had to take that water and empty it into one of 2 containers. Over on this side, there was a 55-gallon drum. It had a sign on the front of it. It said, no. And over on this side was a 5-gallon container, and it had a sign on the front of it that said, yes. I knew I had to fill up both containers, so when I got a no, it was like, great, thanks, man. And it was water in the no container because I had to fill them up. I had to put the numbers on the board that would yield the results. I had to get better along the way. and I had to find people who had a dream that they were willing to sell out to. I mean, absolutely sell out to. Do you have any idea of the power of a human being that has an emotional dream? You've heard me talk about my family and wanting to be able to have freedom and wanting to be able to create circumstances for them that was different than the average person. Do you think that was emotional to me? Do you think that was a big enough dream to bring me to tears? I'm going to tell you right now, if you're working this business and you're chasing a dream that does not bring you to tears, you're not there yet. Okay, you're not going to build this business because you have a dream of a washing machine. You're going to have, and I can tell you right now, successful people, they do not dream small. They don't dream medium. They dream unreasonable dreams. You live in the United States of America. If you are not dreaming unreasonable dreams that the average person would say, that's outrageous, it cannot happen, then you have just separated yourself from a whole sea of people who have succeeded in this country with completely unreasonable dreams. If you look at the history of our country, the fact that we even exist as a country and did not fall to the British when they had thousands and thousands of battleships off of the city of New York, and we had this ragtag group of people, that was an outrageous, over-the-top, unreasonable dream. But it's the people that dream like that and then chase it as though they could not fail that end up changing the world. And everybody in this room has the ability to change your own world. But you've got to shift your belief level. You've got to get to the point of going, this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be in Kivana right now. I'm supposed to be with the team I'm with right now. And my challenge to you is this. If this isn't the time that you're going to burn the bridges, so to speak, and say, this is it, and give it everything you have, even when you are failing, because I can tell you right now, you're going to fail your way to success in Kivana. The biggest people in network marketing have simply failed more than you have. But they got back up with a great attitude. I talk a lot about a concept called the middle miles. People get wealthy in network marketing in the middle miles. Here's how that goes. When you get your kit, you're in. You're going. You got Bob Sager going, let's go do it, man. And you're pumped. You are stoked. You are ready to go. Then imagine the week before you're going diamond, or you're going executive diamond, or presidential, or crown. Imagine that week, how pumped you would be then. The secret to success is what kind of attitude did you have in the middle miles between the beginning and winning the prize. I used to be a runner, and I ran a lot of different races. One of them I ran a lot was Jacksonville. They have a river run, it's 9.3 miles. The 7th mile starts up a huge, enormous bridge, very, very difficult. I always noticed that when we got running, everybody was talking to each other, high-fiving, it was fun, let's go, this is going to be great, everything's cool. And then when you got to the finish line, you see the finish line down there, everybody's talking, they're excited, they're running, they're putting on a sprint. The race was always won in the middle miles, because that's when you were out there kind of alone, and you were having to deal with the voice in your head that was saying, I don't want to do this. Let me tell you something, folks. If you listen to the voice in your head that says, I don't want to do this, I think one of the greatest habits that I've developed in my life is I never procrastinate. I bet there's people in this room right now that procrastinate literally every single week. You know you should make the call, and you don't, and you find different reasons not to. Here's just something, and I just do this because I know that I just can't let this go. When I find myself ever procrastinating, I immediately stop and I do whatever I might procrastinate on right then. I do it right then. I don't care if I'm in the bathroom. I'm going to make the call. I'm going to do it right then, because procrastination is the assassination of your dreams. You procrastinate, I can tell you, you might as well take a torch and just put it to the dreams. It's not going to take place. You've got to discipline yourself. I heard it said a long time ago, and I really like this saying. It was this. If you want to be free for the rest of your life financially, if you want to own your life, if you want to define your own worth for the rest of your life, be the toughest boss you've ever had for 2 years, and you will never work for another soul for the rest of your life. That's all about self-discipline. That's all it is. By the way, that first year or two of the network marketing thing, within the first year of getting involved in network marketing, I was making more money. We were up to 6 figures. I was making more money part-time in network marketing than I was making full-time as a prosecuting attorney, being very, very good at what I did, having done it for almost 10 years at that point in time. And I basically said, you know what? If I can do this in a year with a job, I wonder what I can do over the next year or so without a job. And I put the hammer down. And I mean, I put the hammer down and I went for it with everything I had. When I was doing my presentation in Orlando, I had about the same amount of time, and I was going to do a slideshow because I wanted to share with people where we have been. There's a huge world out there, and it's amazing to me how many people don't see our own country, let alone the rest of the world. One of my goals and dreams, and one of the things that got me down the road on the nights that I didn't want to do it, I can tell you right now, 99% of the meetings I've ever done in network marketing, I did not want to do, but what does that have to do with anything? But one of my dreams and goals, I wanted to buy a big motor coach. And I wanted to travel around with my family. And after about 4 years, we did it. We bought a $650,000 motor coach. This is the baddest coach you have ever seen. This is the rock star kind of coaches. It's had a wine cellar in it, two-color televisions, queen-size bed, slept 10 people. It had a full-size, not a little refrigerator. I'm talking double-door, full-size refrigerator. It had microwaves, it had ovens, it had everything. It was amazing. And for 5 consecutive years, when my kids were young, when the school buses were picking all the other kids up on the last day of school, the yellow buses, there I was with my bus. Back then we didn't have GPS, so I had a Rand Atlas up on the dashboard. And it was kind of a cool bus. I had painted across the front of it, it said, "Gotta have a dream." And I had a horn design where the horn had like 15 songs. So I could choose which song that I wanted to play. But to be able to put my kids in that coach and to be able to travel all around the United States and around Canada for 5 straight years, we have memories that I'm telling you, those kids talk about it today as adults and parents because we invested in that time. It's amazing the places we've been. My wife and I we love watching movies. I like to read books. It is rare that I'm watching a movie or reading a book where whatever they're talking about, we haven't been. I've made like 72 trips to Great Britain, to include England and Scotland and Wales and Ireland. The British Open was held a couple of weeks ago at St. Andrews. I've played St. Andrews. I've been to France. I've been to Spain. I've been to Russia, I think, 12 times. I've been to the Netherlands. I've been to Sweden. I've been to Bulgaria. I've been to Egypt. I've been to South Africa. I've been to South America, I think, 15 to 20 times. We were watching something the other day, and there they were with the statue of Jesus up on the hill. I looked over at Pat and said, "We've been there, done that." And by the way, when we were up there that day sightseeing that night, from that spot during that day, I could look down and see the outdoor football stadium where we were going to be speaking in front of 50,000 people that particular night. Phenomenal. We've been down to South America, I'd say 15, 20 times, all over South America. Chile, I've snow skied in Chile in August because their seasons are reversed, ski in the Andes. Been to Central America probably 15 to 20 times. Been to Hawaii, I think we're up to 17 or 18 times to Hawaii. Been to South Korea, been to Japan, been to China like 4 or 5 or 6 times. Been there with these guys, had great trips over there. Been to Southeast Asia, all over there. It's just amazing. I look at our life, and I think about the life that I would have had if I continued being a lawyer. Home to work, to home to work, to home to work. See, you're getting hypnotized already. Imagine actually doing this. Home to work. And when I was in that life, I would take off like 2 weeks a year, 1 week at Christmas time, and then 1 week during the summertime. And when I took off that 1 week, it was almost not worth taking the time off because by the time I got back to my office, they had made such a mess of things, it took me working about 6 extra weeks to be able to clean up the mess that was made during the 1 week when I was gone. How is that a way to live? How is that a way to live? And if I had stayed there, or I look at some of my friends who decided they were going to go out into private practice and that was going to be their way, the average trial lawyer in private practice, their age where they die is around 60. The stress is enormous. The divorce rate is enormous. They're always there billing hours to be able to make it. I look at my life, and I'm just astounded. It's amazing the quality of life that was purchased through effort, through commitment, through attitude, and it was all purchased, really, in a window of about 24 months. In a window of about 24 months, we completely changed the destiny of the Terhune family. And we were able to do it. And again, I like movies. There's a movie, anybody ever seen the movie The Right Stuff, where the astronauts are doing their thing? There's a scene where John Glenn has got to come back into the atmosphere. And one of the pads on the bottom have kind of burned off, and they're not sure he's going to make it. And they've got him there in the capsule as he's coming back into the atmosphere, and the flames are burning. He's singing the Marine song. The thing's shaking. You're thinking, oh my God, is he going to burn up? And he's going like that. And the next scene, he's in New York City at ticker tape parade. That's kind of how my first 2 years in network marketing were. Just like that. And then suddenly I woke up and there I was at the ticker tape parade, enjoying life, having the freedom to do the things that we want to be able to do. I think we as Americans, because I do a good bit of traveling like Jerry over to Asia, I don't think we understand what we have here. We tend to take it for granted. If anybody in America wakes up in the morning not thinking that they can have whatever they dream of, you don't get it. You don't get it. I challenge you. You're the future of our company. But the future of our company is going to be about leaders being recruited and leaders being developed within our organization. Leave here this weekend making a commitment. And here's my challenge to you. And Bob talked about it, and I agree 100%. Make a commitment for a 90-day run. See, in 90 days, you can change your habit set. You can change your expectation level. You can create a rhythm of work that fits into your normal life in 90 days. I have never, ever seen anyone make 6- or 7-figure incomes in this business without having put several 90-day runs together. And I can tell you right now, there's no one in this room that's any more than probably 18 months away from a 6-figure income by simply putting several 90-day runs together. The first one's going to get you into the Q shares. The second one's going to get you qualified probably or more for the trip next year. And by the way, one of the things I learned early on in this business, if there was a promotion that my company was running, I was qualifying for it, period, new paragraph. If there was an event they were putting on, I was there, period, new paragraph. Those are the traits of the people that succeed in this. And I want to leave you with this picture as I go, because I know we're up here in the Northeast and I know we're near Foxborough, where the New England Patriots play, who I admire greatly. I admire greatly, particularly being a Tampa Bay Buck fan. You have to have someone to pull for. But I want you to think about this. I asked the question last night. I said, how many people fit in Foxborough Stadium? And I think we guessed that it's probably about 80,000 people would fit there. Now, here's the point I want to make to you. We could fill that stadium with people in the network marketing business who've made 6- and 7-figure incomes. We could fill that stadium after the last 60 years of network marketing as a business model all over the world. We could fill that stadium. Now, do you think we would have filled the stadium with just amazingly talented, remarkable, extraordinary human beings? And the answer would be no, except for one word in what I just described, and it is the word extraordinary. And I'm not here to preach to you, but I know who made me. I know who I am. I know I have unlimited potential. It is my job to dig it out. And at some point in time, those people in that stadium would have come to the belief that they have extraordinary within them, and they were willing to work as hard and as committed as they needed to for as long as it took to be able to make it happen. And when you understand that and do it, you will own your life forever. Financially, you will define your worth, and you will create a legacy that will be lasting for generations. Remember this. People are watching you. My grandkids watch me. My kids watch me. My colleagues watch me. The people that I go to work out with watch me. There are people watching you also. They're watching you. You're creating a legacy day after day after day. I don't ever let anyone around me use the word try. That is like fingernails across a chalkboard. I don't want anybody leaving here trying to succeed in Kivana. I want you leaving here looking at the mirror and going, it is your game to win, and we're going to win it, because it is your game to win. And you can win it. And you will love the results from it. I hope all of you travel home very safe. I'm honored that you asked me up here, and I hope that the conversation that I had with you today might make a little bit of a difference.